In this video, I will show how to install OSaaS JDBC driver plugin for Dbeaver. You can see that I already use OSaaS JDBC driver, but in this case I have installed it in old way, not as plugin, but as generic driver. So first of all, I will show how to install plugin. Next, I will download and prepare the driver itself. And after the driver will be ready, we will create a connection to Oracle Fusion SaaS. For those who, as me, already have connections, I will show how to upgrade those existing connections to use newly installed driver. So let's start. In the main menu, open Help and choose Install New Software. We are going to define repository form, which we will able to install the plugin or update it in the future. Press Add. Now we need to provide URL for plugin installation. And let's define some name for this repository. Of course, it can be anything. Now we need to uncheck group items by category and uncheck contact all update site because we don't need it. We have everything inside our installation. Let's check OSaaS JDBC. Press Next. Press Next. Choose Accept. Press Finish. Now we will allow to Dbeaver download our plugin and install it. Choose Select All and press Trust Selected. One more time, choose Select All and press Trust Selected. Press OK and restart the Dbeaver. Now, after installation of plugin and restarting Dbeaver, we will continue with driver configuration. In main menu, open Database. Under Database, look for Driver Manager. Click on Driver Manager. Now we will look for newly installed OSaaS JDBC driver. You will find here two entries, OSaaS JDBC and OSaaS JDBC subject area. Let's start from OSaaS JDBC, which allows us to execute regular database selects against Oracle Fusion SaaS. OSaaS JDBC subject area allows us to do selects based on OT by subject areas. The using of it I will show in another video. So let's start with OSaaS JDBC. Choose the OSaaS JDBC and click Edit. Click on Libraries tab. Now we are going to download driver itself. Click on Download/Update button. In popped-up window, click on Download. I'm sorry, by mistake I have clicked on OK, but actually we didn't finish. Let's go to Default Properties. You will find here two mandatory properties, License Key and License Machine Identifier. Let's provide them. I have license key, and in license identifier, you can write anything with a law later to identificate this installation. For example, Mara laptop. Press OK. Press close. Now we are ready to create connections. Click New Database Connection. New window with all available drivers will be opened. Type OSaaS in search field. Choose OSaaS JDBC. Press Next. On OSaaS JDBC connection configuration page, provide host name of your Oracle environment. If you don't know it, just log into it in the browser, and after you are logged in, copy the URL from just after https / and until com. And here you can choose which kind of authentication you want to use, SSO or database native. Database native is actually username and password. I think for most of you SSO is more relevant. That's why the SSO is a default. Press Finish button. Our new connection is created. Now let's try to connect. You can initialize connection by expanding it or click on connection name and choosing Connect Action. In our case, you don't see here the button for Connect with SSO because it's Oracle demo environment. But what is important here that username and password you don't save in Dbeaver. If SSO is configured in your environment, you will see here button Connect with SSO. So go through the SSO process. I just will put here username and password. Okay, now we got an error message. This error message says that there is no metadata for this specific Oracle version. This error message about metadata you'll get every time Oracle will upgrade environment. The error message contains link to download the zip archive containing metadata file, and information about where downloaded files should be stored. So let's copy this URL to our browser and start download. Meanwhile, we can open the location where we should save extracted metadata file. For me, there are multiple files from previous Oracle versions. At the time of recording this video, most of us, I think, work on Oracle Fusion 24D. That's why we need to download metadata for 24D. Okay, the download is finished, and now I will move here. Please pay attention that we need to copy content of downloaded zip file and not zip file itself. The steps for downloading metadata you need to prepare only once for every Oracle version, regardless on how many connections to this version you have. Okay. And let's try to connect one more time. And we are connected. If this is your first installation of OSaaS JDBC driver, it's very important to do some changes of Dbeaver preferences. By default, Dbeaver tries to open new connection on every SQL editor opening or metadata selecting. In case of SSO, we will see multiple times login screen. So let's change this default behavior. Open Window menu, Preferences. And let's start from connection metadata. We will find here preference called Open Separate Connection for metadata read. Change it from default to never. We don't need new connection for this. Press Apply, but not Apply and close. Under Editors, choose SQL Editor. Set Open Separate Connection for each editor to never. Uncheck Connect on Editor Activation. Uncheck Connect on Query Execute. Press Apply. Now let's do some other changes in behavior of the Dbeaver. If we are going to Editors, SQL Editor, SQL Processing, you'll find here last section on the right side called Delimiters. Dbeaver uses those delimiters to find start and end of query. When you have multiple queries on the same SQL editor.so, you don't need to select the query. But it's enough to position the cursor inside the query, and Dbeaver will understand which query it needs to execute. First of all, check the checkbox, ignore native delimiter, and change the value of blank line is statement delimiter to never, because our query can contain blank lines. The last thing we need to decide about is a field statements delimiter, which by default has value semicolon. As you know, in Oracle Database 12.2 and later, you can define PLSQL function as part of query. Every PLSQL function contains semicolon. So if leave the default value and will include function in our query, Dbeaver will break the query on the first semicolon. Of course, you always have option to select whole query and execute selected, but from my point of view, it's not comfortable. So I suggest to change the value of field statements delimiter to double semicolon. Press Apply and close. We have finished with configurations, and now you can open new SQL editor and execute a query. Okay, but what if we have already connections and don't want to define new? It's not so difficult to define new, but let's change existing one. I choose connection which I want to change. Open Menu Database, choose Action, Change Connection Driver. Choose OSaaS JDBC driver. Press Finish. Now this connection will use newly installed driver.